Hi, all Movax Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Well, oh man, there's so much stone in there already. I was gonna put that stone in there, but I have bajillions of stone. Although, look at that. It doesn't take a lot to... It's like 11,000 stone. I'm gonna get, like, less than 1,000 cement out of it? Crazy. So, I did not succeed in completing the mission that I was working on last week. Things went horribly south very, very quickly after I stopped recording. It was bad. I was like, man, where are the zombies? I've cleared the floors, I've cleared the roof, and I got down into the lower floors, which I hadn't been in yet because I went up the outside of the building. And I found like some paths that lead down under the building, and then there were just so many guys everywhere around me. And I was trapped. I couldn't get back out. I had jumped down an elevator shaft to get to where I was at, and there wasn't a way out, and I just got swarmed. I mean, it was less than 10 minutes after I quit recording, and I just got swarmed by zombies I couldn't get away from, and I ran out of bullets. Always out of bullets, man. So, I'll have to make some more bullets when I get back. I should have a lot of gunpowder. I say a lot. I'll have some gunpowder when I get back. You never have enough gunpowder in this game. But it is what it is. So, time to go get my bike back. So watch the new Hellraiser movie. Actually kind of liked it. It wasn't perfect. Although, I mean, you're not really expecting perfect from Hellraiser. But it was a lot better than the previous entry. The previous movie made me so angry. It was so bad. So bad. And just infuriatingly bad. But oh man, just thinking about it, I'm just like, ugh. So you know where what Hellraiser is. Hellraiser, I've talked about it before on here, but Hellraiser is one of my favorite horror series. And the first movie's pretty good. But it's like back in the 80s, so it's like that over the top 80s R-rated horror, right? I guess a lot of horror is just over the top like this, but you know, it's like we've got those good Protestant values that make up most of the morals of the United States, and let's go ahead and just be, you know, very anti that so that we can cause a stir. You know, it's one of those. But it's I really dig this story because I don't know. I really like the concept that there are rules and if you break the rules, then right? The punishments come because, they're big rules. They're not like, oh, don't jaywalk kind of rule. They're like the foundations of the universe were created based on these rules, and so if you break those rules, then obviously I don't think people were breaking the, well, I guess technically yes. The first Hellraiser movie, what it's about is there are these creatures called Cenobites. They're not demons, as far as I can tell. I mean, I haven't read any of the short story or any of that. I think there's a short story they're based off of, or really delved into the lore beyond watching the movies. But from my understanding, they're not demons, but they're like other dimensional creatures that are kind of like a demon. I mean, they're related to like heaven and hell and stuff, but they bring sensation to people who seek it out. But their concepts of sensation are alien. And so, like one of the famous lines from the Hellraiser is, um, uh, Pinhead, the main Cenobite, says, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he says something about like one of the famous lines is, "I have such sights to show you," right? And then he also does a line where he's like, "Angel to some, demons to others," and um, and then they talk a lot about the fine line between pain and pleasure, right? Uh, and so it's not, they're not like coming after people who have done evil things. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to bring eternal suffering to those who activate the puzzle box. And so the puzzle box basically opens the gateway between this world and their world. And so the first movie is about a dude who escapes from their world, but he doesn't do it fully. And so when he comes across, he meets up with his old flame, and she starts bringing him bodies so that he can absorb their essence, so he can rebuild himself into a person. And her daughter finds the puzzle box and figures out that this dude is wanted by these creatures who live in the puzzle box, right? Because the puzzle box isn't fully closed because he's come back through. And so she opens the puzzle box and brings them through fully so they can take back the dude. And they're very like wrapped in leather and piercings, and parts of their skin is peeled off, and there's a lot of like hooks on chains that dig into people, and it's stuff like that. That's the kind of horror it is. And so which I don't know, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. So I mean, it doesn't, that's not the part I really enjoy. It's the fact that this dude escaped, there are rules, and they've come for him, and then the girl has to help them come through, right, to get him. I like that storyline part. And so in the sequel, which I don't like the sequel as much as the first one because it gets a little weird, but in the sequel, they come for the girl because the rules are, you open the puzzle box, you belong to the Cenobites. And so that's what the sequel is about, is them coming for her and then her trying to get away from them. It gets a little more campy though than the first one. Like, I mean, it really often that's the case, right? The first one is like weird and serious, and then the sequel is like, ha ha ha, we made this, monster, but now he's gonna be even more over the top, right? Like, Gremlins versus Gremlins 2, right? Um, I was trying to think, or like, um, Friday the 13th movies, right? The first one is really serious, and then the sequels are less serious, right? So it's kind of like that, sort of. Uh, but yeah, and so I really like that concept. And then some of them are pretty good. I really enjoy. I don't remember the numbers for each one, but I know there's the Bloodlines movie I really liked, which apparently a lot of people didn't, but I liked it. I liked the concept of different generations of the people who helped the initial magician make the box, trying to make a prison to stop the Cenobites. I thought that was a cool storyline, and so it was really fun to see each of the different generations trying to create the ultimate trap for the Cenobites and failing until the final one. Uh, and then uh, there was one where a detective was trying to solve the murder of his wife that I really liked, and then at the end of it, you find out that he's the one who killed his wife, and he's just trapped in this loop by the Cenobites, reliving the horror of knowing his wife is dead over and over again, because they've wiped his memory and he doesn't know that he killed her. And so I like that one, but then some of them are awful. I know there's a VR one that's terrible, and there's like one that takes place in there's one that takes place in a frat house that was awful. I think that one's called like Hell House. It was terrible, just completely terrible. And yeah, so it's hit or miss whether or not they're going to be good. And then uh the um the last one, before the newest one, the previous one, I guess I should say, um was just terrible. I don't know why they thought it should even be part of the Hellraiser series, because it was like it was like about fallen angels, um and it just it really infuriated me at the one point, because every Hellraiser is a pretty much got a point in the movie that's about the puzzle box. The puzzle box is the gateway, right? That's the thing. People solve the puzzle box, the Cenobites come. That's the thing. That's the shtick for this. Otherwise, it's just a demon movie. And the puzzle box is what sets Hellraiser apart, because they don't have to be summoned. They're not evil creatures. They're not hunting down damned souls or something. No, they're creatures from another. I mean, they are people turned into creatures from another dimension, I guess. Um, but they're always people who are like caught up in the aftermath of other people's decisions, right? So most of the Cenobites are collateral damage from things that other people have done. And so I like that aspect too, that the Cenobites themselves are, for the most part, some of them made their choices to become Cenobites, but some of them are just like, I was a security guard in the building when the Cenobites came, and now I'm a monster that lives another dimension of pain. And so, um, and so then they've got this part in the movie. I'm waiting for stuff to cook up here. Unfortunately, I'm back to waiting on stuff. Oh, look at all that brass I've got in here, though. Listen, I'm not waiting 20 minutes for this, okay? Give me casings. Because I'm out of casings to make bullets with, so... Give me... bullet tips. I'll just shove this in my guy here for now. Oh, you know what? That's where all that stone could have gone. Give me half that stone. Is this not crushed sand? Yeah, crushed sand, small stone, cement. Oh, fuel. No, there's no fuel for this. Oh, because it's in the output. Duh. Um, and so there's this one part really made me mad because it was like the one of the characters comes into this room and I think I just talked about this, the mantle of the fireplace had puzzle boxes on it, and the person in the room, I don't remember if they were a Cenobite or not, but they picked up one of the puzzle boxes and just crushed it up in their hand and says, "Oh yes, those, they never really mattered." And I'm like, okay, so you're just completely changing the storyline of the Hellraiser series? Like, why? I don't understand. It had its own mythos, and you're just destroying it for no reason. Like, why would you do that? So the new one, while it's not exactly back to the original mythos, was a lot closer. And I I liked it. I like I said, I don't think it was not as good as the original Hellraiser movie. But I didn't despise the female Pinhead. I thought it was going to be stupid, and it actually turned out to be decent for you know, that version of Pinhead turned out to be decent. Gender didn't play a role. I didn't feel like gender would play a role anyways. They just said they didn't want to do another male Pinhead because they felt it would just be trying to do an imitation of the original Pinhead, and so this was something different. And it worked. It worked fine. Uh, uh, the Cenobites were cool, and the storyline wasn't terrible. I actually rather enjoyed it. Uh, and it was a fun watch. Spoilers, I guess, for the newest Hellraiser, but one of the things I did question, even though I enjoyed it, was they did this thing where I know Leviathan is a thing in the second movie, but it's been so long since I watched the second movie that I don't remember Leviathan. And um because usually if I'm going to watch the Hellraiser movies, because I'm going to stick to the Hellraiser movies, I'm probably just going to watch my favorite ones. And because it's a little different than some other series where they build off of each other. The Hellraiser movies are, other than the first two, mostly independent things. So I'd probably watch one and then three, which I think is Bloodlines, and then skip around after that to the other ones I like. Um, and so yeah, I don't really remember Leviathan that well. But this one had a weird thing where the dude was sacrificing people to be um like keys to unlock gifts from Leviathan. And I found that to be a little weird. Um and because it was so different, Um, all right, I'm not gonna stay here. I'm gonna go down and kill things in the dark, I guess. Because it was so different storyline like that, I don't know if some of the earlier movies actually referenced this, but they did a thing with the puzzle box, and I know the puzzle box changes, uh, but it was like when they opened the puzzle box, instead of opening completely, it would just shift to different forms, and then each form had a blade sticking out of it. Is that a bear? Or is that a rock? That's a bear. I don't think I'm prepared to fight a bear. And so they would have to kill someone with the puzzle box blade to to allow it to unlock the next part of the puzzle box. And so you'd have to kill, like, I don't know what the number was, like 7 people or something. And then once you did that, then Leviathan would come, and then you could make a gift choice. But then they didn't explain the gifts either, and they had all weird names. So uh so um but I liked it. It was pretty good. I again, though, because of the changes of the story, it's not really exactly like what I would expect from a Hellraiser. But you know, it had the elements of what I like from a Hellraiser in it. There were rules, people were being punished for breaking the rules. I'm not a big fan of punishment necessarily for breaking rules, but I do like, I guess I like rules being applied when people mean to, you know, apply them. I guess. Right? Like I don't think it's a big deal necessarily to I don't know, jaywalk, let's say. Um I don't live anywhere where you can jaywalk, I don't think. I live in the middle of rural nowhere. So I guess you could get a jaywalking ticket in town. I really don't see anybody taking the time to do that. And I understand it's for safety purposes why we don't want people to jaywalk. I completely understand the reasoning behind it. And so if you did catch someone breaking the rule of jaywalking, I understand. Yes, they probably deserve their punishment for jaywalking. But I don't think that's that big of a rule, right? And so, you know, I'm not, I kind of sounds like I'm like, yes, there are rules and we must follow all the rules. No, it's not what I mean. I really enjoy the cosmic horror aspect of these, you know, creation built rules. Um, and, and if you break them, then they come for you for breaking them, right? Oh, or you did a good thing, as in the case of the second movie. You did a good thing by, you know, bringing the escaped dude who's having people killed so that he can come back to human life. Um, you know, brought him to justice, but in the process of bringing him to justice, you did activate the boxes, and the rules are they come for you. And so yeah, it's terrible that, you know, maybe they did a good thing, but they're still going to get punished. But, you know, cosmic rule here. You you did the thing, so now the consequences come. I guess I'm a fan of consequences, more than rules. But But yeah, if you like the Hellraisers, or if slightly gory horror is your thing, and I don't mean like stupid gory horror like Hostel or something. I hated those movies; they were dumb. I'm not into the torture horror. That's not really my thing. I know there's some elements to it in the Hellraiser stuff, but it's not just, hey, we kidnapped random people and then we tortured them to death, like the Hostel type movies. I like Jigsaw or the Saw movies, most of them, not all of them. And I know there's a lot of torture horror in that, but I feel like that's a different kind of thing than again, that's like, I like Saw because it's a consequences thing. It's not a, oh, dang it. It's not a not hostile, hostile's randomness, right? Um, oh, I thought that was a box to break open. It was not. It was something on the wall. All right, I'm gonna get back up here and see what the deal is with all these spots up above. I saw like, looked like there was a spot to jump down up here, and there's that spot where you get down over top of the ceiling tiles. Yeah, I liked Saw because Saw was. I was trying to jump onto the thing, not fall down in here. Apparently, I can't work the edges of this building. I like Saw because, like, all the people involved in the first couple of movies, for the most part, like, had earned their place in the traps. I'm, again, not saying they necessarily deserved it, but it is a consequence of their actions that put them there, sort of. And so I really like the first couple of Saw movies. I don't know how far into the Saw series I liked. Don't really remember. I know there was a couple I didn't like, and I don't think I've seen the newest one, which is probably like 3 or 4 years old now. Um, I don't need a crossbow. Those are nice though. See, it was worth getting back up there, maybe. Get a little bit of gunpowder and some shell casings. Or some casings. What are they called? Bullet casings. I know there's all those terms mean something, but I don't remember what the difference is between them. Bullet and shell and round. I don't remember if they have bullet stuff in here. It does say guns on the back, though. Have I been in here too recently, though? Yeah, I thought so, because I didn't see any zombies coming out to get me. We've been watching Andor. That's okay. Um, I'm pretty sure I talked about the fact that I don't like this new trend where they have people speak in a foreign language and don't put English subtitles below it. I mean, it doesn't have to be English, but just subtitles in general. Um, we tend to watch our shows with the subtitles just so we can make sure what is being said over top of the extra loud music that seems to be on everything. I don't understand why the music is always so much louder than the dialogue. Um, I'm a I don't really play my games with music, so um, I don't really care for extra loud background music. And I understand the purpose. I understand the we want a specific emotional response. So we're going to play the music that helps deliver that specific. Ooh, I'm gonna die. But we're gonna play the music that delivers that. Oh, great. Oh man, my arm is sprained and I have a concussion now. Guess I might want to head back home. If I keep punching things, I'll break my arm. Home. Um, but yeah, hopefully they're past that point because I don't know. There was just a lot of that one episode where they were speaking in an alien language. And like I said before, I can understand that maybe they were trying to be culturally sensitive in other shows where they have a segment in a foreign country, for example, or a non-English speaking, person speaking in their native dialect, but it doesn't help. I live in a mostly English speaking country. I feel like my movies should come in mostly my language. Or you put subtitles so I can at least know what they were saying. Why are there 5-minute scenes in shows where they're speaking? Did I go past my place? Where they're speaking in a language that I can't understand. Am I supposed to go out and try to find a translator? As I've mentioned before in this episode, I live in a very rural area. It's not like I can go find someone to speak all the different languages and all the different movies that I watched and be like, hey, can you come over and translate this scene for me? Why do I have a house on the trader? Weird. I have store icons. See? Store icon. I don't know why I chose a house. I was going there because it was a house symbol. But yeah, so there's no culture to try and be nice to when your people are speaking an alien language that no one on this planet speaks. So I don't know. It was the dumbest thing and it's not just, it's not the, I mean, the alien thing is the dumbest thing to have him speak an alien language. It'd be like going to watch Avatar, right? And none of the scenes where the Avatar people are talking uh, have subtitles. Or, going to watch Lord of the Rings, and every time the elves speak in Elvish or the dwarves speak in Dwarvish, and not put down subtitles. Um, I don't understand why you would deprive people of what you put the effort into making like that. Unless they were super lazy and it wasn't even a language at all. Like, like they're making gibberish sounds. Even then, you could still put. They had to have been saying something, otherwise you wouldn't have had them talk. Uh, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the subtitles where they're like, speaking in Spanish. Well, good for them. I realized it was in Spanish. That doesn't help me to know what's going on in this scene. Why do you have this scene in your movie? Or TV show? If you didn't want me as the person in the country where the show is being shown to know what's going on. Doesn't help anybody. Anyways. Well, I made it home. I brought my bike back. I've got a bad looking arm here. I've got a concussion. I've got... Oh, see? Everything just got blurry. Alright, let's see. We'll take this for my zombie bite. We'll take this for my concussion. And we'll use this for my arm. I can't use it on my arm. These are things that I would use on a sprain. Can I not use anything on my sprain? Weird. Alright, well, with that, I am going to call it a day. So be better than small things, lean to the light. I will talk to you later.